that not all brokerages are created equal. Not all support systems are created equal. And all brokerages are not the right fit for all people. Like, I don't believe that there's one brokerage that everybody should be a part of. I do believe that it does matter, however, which brokerage you are a part of. I have seen agents move from one brokerage to another, and it makes a big difference in their business. And it changes their ability to get referrals and really build a massive referral-based business.
Because the management and transparency is what's very important. So once you submit a referral, you're going to have your own Home Advantage account, and it's going to tell you where everything sits. So if you have 10 referrals that you've sent into the network, it's going to give you all 10 referrals. It's going to tell you every milestone that client is sitting in, whether they're touring homes, whether they're in escrow. And you now can manage through the Home Advantage application as far as what your pipeline looks like for the referrals that you've sent. And so it's pretty sophisticated, and it's all click of a button, guys.
What's up, everybody? For those of you that are just joining us, really glad that you're here. We're just going to take just a second and welcome those that are joining us on Facebook. We'll be streaming live there in just a minute. So for those of you that are here, I'd love to know who you are. Tell us at least what part of the country you're from. Would love to meet you. So as you're coming in the door, please do so. Please tell us where you're from. Today, we're going to be talking about how to choose a referral-friendly brokerage. And I'll just begin by saying the fact that not all brokerages are created equal. Not all support systems are created equal. And all brokerages are not the right fit for all people. Like, I don't believe that there's one brokerage that everybody should be a part of. I do believe that it does matter, however, which brokerage you are a part of. I have seen agents move from one brokerage to another, and it makes a big difference in their business. And it changes their ability to get referrals and really build a massive referral-based business. So today's episode, we're going to go into depth on that, some things that you need to be looking for as you are evaluating. Are you at the right brokerage? Or maybe you've already decided you're going to be moving to a new brokerage. How do you decide on the brokerage that is the right fit for you? Now, for those that don't know me, my name is Justin Stoddart. You can follow me. You can find me on Facebook and follow me there, just Justin Stoddart. Or if you're an Instagram, more of an Instagrammer, IGer, you can find me on Instagram at Justin Stoddart. So I would love to engage with you. Keep in mind that the things that I share here today will impart you with some new information. But if you don't actually take this information and interact with it and actually apply it, it will remain information. And just, information doesn't help you. Knowledge helps you. How do you get knowledge? Well, knowledge comes by applying what you learn. So I would invite you to not leave it at information. If you're going to spend the time to be here, spend the time to turn into knowledge. Okay. So my intent is, again, to not be the only teacher in the group, but to really have everybody be interacting with this content to be able to apply it to you to help make you money. So again, back to today's topic of how do you choose a referral-friendly brokerage? Now let's define what is a referral-friendly brokerage. Many people will find themselves at a brokerage, and let's say, for example, that they are a warm market person. So to define that, people who prefer to work relationally, who prefer to work to maintain relationships long after the sale, to be able to continue to get referrals from those past clients. Whereas other people, and I'm not saying one's better than another, I lean heavily towards the relationship side, while others are more transactional. They say, look, they're hiring me to be their agent, and the conversation starts, or the relationship really starts when they sign the contract. And at closing, we part and go our own ways, right? And I did everything that I was as a fiduciary that I was supposed to do, right? Neither one is wrong. But my target audience today are for those people who really want to build a relationship-based business, one in which people never become past clients. There's a little key for you, by the way, that if a brokerage or a person or a mentor talks a lot about past clients, or maybe doesn't talk about past clients because they don't really pay attention to them, or they consider them really as in the past. In other words, I don't need to interact with them anymore. I'll put them on a drip campaign and that's it. If that's their perspective and you really want to build a relationship-based business, then I would encourage you to use that as at least one one identifier as to whether or not this is the right brokerage for you. Okay, because again, a relationship-based business is one that maybe doesn't have past clients. And I know you're probably scratching your head saying, like, what doesn't have past clients? I don't understand. No, a relationship-based model is one who just has clients, but they don't ever see their clients ever becoming past clients. They see it more as a financial advisor would. A financial advisor doesn't have past clients. They just have clients. And those clients are people that they serve very actively when they're in a transaction with them. And they continue to serve them after they're not in an active conversation. Now, how would you serve a client after you've closed a transaction? Right? Well, it's giving them at minimum an annual wealth review in which you're creating an unsolicited CMA and you're sending that to your clients every year, letting them know that, hey, can you believe it's been a year since you closed on your property? Congratulations, by the way. And I just wanted to give you an update on where your value is at now. Now, if all of your sales come in the spring or summer, it might be too much of a burden to try and do an annual unsolicited CMA for everybody at the same time that you have a new flood of clients in the next spring and summer. So it may make sense to do that at the beginning of the year when it's a little bit quieter, or towards the end of the year when it's a little bit quieter, to where you're giving people an updated analysis of what their valuations are. Okay. So that's one way that I would encourage you to really identify or first of all, to integrate that into your practice so that you can legitimately say, I don't have past clients, I just have clients and I continue to serve them. So an agent that thinks like that finds themselves in the bucket of being warm market. Now I'm going to share with you guys really quickly here my screen, and I want to line this out. And I think this is going to become fairly easy for you to identify where you should be if you're a relationship agent. So if we were to say, let me make that line a little bit straighter here. Okay, so relationship-based business, okay? Or a transaction-based business, okay? Relationship-based business, no past clients. Counts on repeat and referral business, okay? Focus on referrals, okay? Whereas over here, a transaction-based business has past clients, doesn't count on or doesn't necessarily even look for repeat or referral. And they're not really looking for referrals. They're just looking for more leads. Okay. So this is one way to kind of segment what type of agent you want to be. And again, I'm not here to judge, just say one's better than another. I am the identify a warm market. I encourage agents strongly to look at a relationship-based business. And here's why. I'll just put in this plug. And if you want to stay transactional, please do so, right? That's your MO. But what happens when you have a relationship-based business is every year, so let's say you started in the year 2019, you've got 2020, you've got 2021, you've got 2022, 2023. Everybody that sold down here, right? You are staying in relationship with. Every one of these people become a source for new business, okay? To where your business is, when you start the year in 2023, when you're over here, you're really kind of starting from zero, right? You're starting from zero. Now you've got a lot of leads that are coming in here, right? You've got a lot of leads that are pouring in. But over here, you're starting off with the relationships that you left off with. So you're not starting from zero. You already have relationships. You already have things in progress to cause warm market business to come in. And this business tends to convert a little bit higher. Now, last week, if you remember, if you attended last week's presentation, right, I talked about how warm market versus cold, pros and cons. There are pros and cons to both. Okay, but if you've decided now that I really want to be on this side of the business, okay, I really want to have a relationship-based business. I want to roll out of bed every start of the year. and be able to count on a certain number of transactions. Now, you might be asking yourself, what do you mean count on? Here's the statistics. If you have a relationship-based business and your people are well nurtured, okay, your clients are, in other words, you nurture that database well. Here's what I want you to know is that you can count on about 10% of that database turning into a deal every year. So let's say if you started in the year 2019, right? Or maybe the year 2009 or the year 1999, let's say you have 300 people in your database. Okay. As long as you have systems in place to nurture that, then that would equate to 30 deals every year. So you could start your year off saying, even if we just continue to do our simple basic systems to maintain in relationship with our clients, not our past clients, then I ought to wake up every year to knowing I've got 30 deals that I can count on. Okay. Over here, you don't necessarily have that. Okay. You're starting from scratch to some degree because the people who you served in the past, you haven't maintained a relationship with them. Now, again, sometimes this business outperforms this business because there's so many opportunities from leads. The downside is that oftentimes these cost you a little bit more because you're buying new leads, you're buying new relationships, you're advertising and buying your way into those existing conversations. Okay. So again, I would encourage you to highly consider a relationship-based business from a longevity standpoint, from a sustainable business standpoint, is that you don't have to continue to invest large sums of money in order to cause that business to happen. Now, some people will come in and they'll say, I prospect, right? I make lots of phone calls. And so it doesn't cost me hardly anything because I'm just entering into conversation with people through my own efforts. And I would say, I like that model better, right? However, the only part I don't like is that there's an enormous amount of effort because you're converting a small percentage of the people who you're in conversations with or trying to be in conversations with. So if I've convinced you to be a relationship-based business, now the question becomes, what is a brokerage that is best suited to help me with that? Okay, I think more than even the brokerage conversation, it's who are the mentors? Who are the people that I'm going to be learning from? Who are the people that I'm going to be nearby? Who are the people around me? And are they also relationship-based business? So when evaluating a brokerage, what you're also evaluating are the people in the brokerage. Many people will, even when they're happy and the brokerage is going well, they get to a point to where it's like, you know what? I can't learn from anybody here. There's no bigger fish in this small ocean than me. Sometimes you're at a smaller independent brokerage and it's like, look, I am the top producer here. Maybe you even own that independent brokerage, right? And you're like, it's a great business and a great brokerage, or at least it has been in previous years, yet I don't have people I can learn from. I don't have people I can look up to. So if that's you and you're asking yourself the question of like, you know what? I think it's time for me to make a change, whether out of an independent brokerage or maybe into an independent brokerage, right? Or into another brokerage altogether. And you're asking yourself, where should I go? Where should I look? And I get this question all the time. The reason why I'm giving this training, you guys, is because I have agents who will reach out to me and say, hey, so-and-so said I should talk to you. They said, you're a great resource. You understand the brokerage landscape really well. And I would love your help identifying where I might be a right fit. And so I don't just say, you should go to EXP or you should go to KW or you should go to anywhere. Like I don't give them that advice because I don't know who they are. So I start by asking a series of questions about them, about who they are, what their preferences, are they relational or transactional? What are their goals? Where are they at? And from there, I get a sense of who they are. And then at that point, I can begin to identify what type of environment they need to be in. Because a brokerage isn't as important, again, as the people in the brokerage. And so if you can identify that these are the people that I want to be around, let's say that it's people, right? It's people who are outproducing me, which is a terrific way to look at it, by the way. They're outproducing me, okay? And they are relational, okay? And the trainings are centered on warm market nurturing systems as opposed to cold market lead conversion systems, okay? So you just have to ask yourself, can I learn from somebody? Who are the people I'm going to be learning from? And what are they teaching? Once you really start to get your head around that, right? And you really start to get clear on is there a path big enough for me? Are there people that can lead me there? And are they going to be teaching me the things to where my ladder is leaned up against the correct wall? In other words, I don't want to learn all the ins and outs of lead generation, lead conversion from internet sources if ultimately that's not the business I want to be a part of, right? I would rather identify people who can teach me. Now, you might ask yourself the question, what type of training should I be looking for? Here are the fundamental things that a relationship-based agent should be identifying, right? So when we look at the training side, right, they should be a database, like a referral-friendly database. Okay, when I say database, I'm talking about not just, because sometimes there's a lot of databases out there that are really lead generation machines. Nothing against those, but if you're a relationship-based business, you don't necessarily need a database that's equipped to do massive amounts of lead gen and lead conversion and lead nurturing. Okay. There's a very prominent tech company out there who I called some of the top people at the company. I said, how do you use your system to really cultivate relationships with people who are not active buyers and sellers? And I felt like I stumped them. I'm like, this is not a difficult question. And they said, you know what? Our software is not really designed for that. That's not what we do. Our service is really designed to cultivate relationships with active buyers and sellers, which is great, right? And important even when your people start to become active buyers and sellers. But how do you maintain a relationship with people, let's say a group of 300 people, that allow you to wake up, like roll out of bed and be able to count on 30 transactions a year, right? Which is what you should absolutely expect. So number one, it's the database. Do the people around you, do the trainings that are being offered, is there any training, any help on a database to where you can actually keep track of a list of relationships? Okay. Beyond the relationships, beyond the database, it should be some sort of email system. Again, I'm not talking set it and forget it, outsource it to somebody else and never look at it. I'm talking about a way for your voice to show up in the emails. Okay. And this is a big mistake that some people make. They're like, yeah, I have a service that sends out emails every month. No, if this is a relationship-based business, you are not sending out emails. Your clients know it and you know it. A service, you've signed up your clients to be on a service that emails them twice a month. There's a difference. There's a difference between having it come from your voice and having it come from an outsourced company's voice. Okay, there's a difference. So email system that nurtures in your voice. Now, keep in mind that this doesn't have to take you a lot of time. It does not have to take you all day long. This can actually be twice a month. You've got the framework already in place, copy and paste the framework, and you add in your personality. You add in your perspectives. Because my question to you is, do you want some outsourced company to be leading your clients that maybe is getting between you and your clients? My guess is no. If you've got a relationship-based business, you want to be the leader. You want to be the interpreter of the market for them. So your email system needs to reflect that. Okay. Secondly, do you have a social media system? Okay. Like, do you actually know what to do? And I would say it's less about some service posting on your behalf, and it's more about you stepping into social media and listening to the needs and concerns of your clients. If this is a relationship, we all know that listening more than you talk is very important. So does your social media reflect that? Do you actually have a system in place that encourages and allows you to listen as opposed to just simply talking? Okay. And lastly, do you have an annual wealth review system? Okay. If you can't find this anywhere in your brokerage, okay, maybe that should be an indicator for you. Maybe. Okay. Now, you might be able to supplement some of these things with coaching. That's what we do. That's what my company does, is we supplement these in when people are at a brokerage that they love, but they're not getting the systems and the training that they like. We do that. We help people with that. Okay. But sometimes you can say, I'm just going to put myself in an environment where everybody's doing these things. Right. And now you're sitting in an environment where everybody's DNA matches. You're all talking about ways that you can cultivate and nurture relationships. without having to like go looking for it so far. Okay. So these are some things that I would strongly encourage you to look for. Again, choosing a brokerage shouldn't just be, well, my friend told me that this is a good one. This is a relationship. This is a marriage, right? Or at least a deep friendship, right? And maybe that's another bit of advice, is that sometimes people do look at their brokerage as a marriage when it's not. In other words, and I know I just said that, but I'm retracting my statement here, is that if you are not at the right brokerage and you genuinely feel like you can get better results somewhere else, you at least ought to have the conversation. Now, I do believe that the grass is green where you water it. Just simply taking bad habits and a bad mindset and bad productivity and moving it to a new brokerage is not going to solve your problem. However, being around other people who elevate your game, that teach you, that are operating at a different level, and who can teach you the systems and key trainings and mentor you in a way that you do want to do business, that can help, right? That can help. So seeing this brokerage as a serious relationship that you need to vet to make sure that it's the right one, right? This isn't just excuse my being crass, this isn't just a hookup website, right? This isn't just a one-night stand. Your brokerage is going to have a big impact upon how you show up in the marketplace. You need to treat this as a serious relationship. Now, if you're not in the right relationship, you don't need to stay there. There are lots of options, and it's quite easy to make a move if you need to. So if you're not getting somebody who's outproducing you, if you are the smartest person in the room, that's a problem. Okay. And if you're around people and nobody's relational, everybody's transactional, that's a problem. Okay. For you, if you want to be relational, and can you find the trainings that will actually help you to be relational? Guys, I want to thank you so much for tuning in again. If I can be of help, if you want to spend just a few minutes with me and I'll help you to identify where you're at, kind of what you're looking for, I'm happy to make a recommendation for you. That's oftentimes what I do. And I've sent people to almost every brokerage you can imagine because it's good for them. So if that's of interest to you, just message me. I'm happy to have a quick 10, 15 minute conversation via Zoom, see what I can learn about you, see if I can make a recommendation that may help you along the path of choosing a brokerage that is referral friendly, that's going to help you to build the business that, again, allows you to wake up every year to 30 transactions because you've spent the time to do that, as opposed to feeling like you're starting over. So thanks so much for tuning in, everybody. My final request is this, for those that know me, hear this a lot. It's go think bigger and let me know what I can do to help you. Thanks, everybody. Talk soon.